Hi, welcome to my video about how I rebuilt a pirate ship. This is the Pillager. It's part of the Lemax Spooky Town lineup. And it's a pirate ship that's filled with skeletons and ghosts. Now I always have pirates on my Spooky Town display, and I have a couple pirate ships, but I didn't have this one. So I went looking on eBay and I found a damaged one, but I thought they wanted too much for it. So I went ahead and made an offer, and I was lucky enough to get it for $40 plus shipping. But the important thing about this one was it said it was working and just had broken masts. I've fixed Spooky Town items before, so I thought this wouldn't be a problem. You can see here what arrived. The masts were definitely broken, and there was a little more demolition than just that. But the piece did work, and all of this was just repairing items that had broken or fallen off, and I've done that many times before. The masts themselves were quite a mess. They were broken in 5 pieces, with some of them still attached and some of them unattached. So I set about finding all the parts and figuring out where they had to go. Figuring out where the masts went was not a problem. I just had to line up the broken part with where it went. Then I started to glue my masts in place. I had decided I was going to use a strong epoxy for this because as I was attaching all the different pieces to them, there was going to be tugging and pulling, and I wanted a strong connection. Gluing the rear mast in place was not a problem, but the front mast I had to prop in place while the epoxy was drying. Then I had to do a couple small repairs on the mid-mast before I could glue it in place. It had a bag of treasure hanging from it, and the pulley was broken, so I had to support the bag while I glued the pulley back in place. And then once I was gluing that mast in place, I had to support the bag once again so that it wouldn't be pulling forward on the mast, and I held it in place while the epoxy dried. Then the next thing I started to do was attach some of the broken pieces onto the sub-assemblies that had come off of the ship. The pirate captain had lost a foot and one of his lanterns, and there was a sword fight between a couple pirates where a number of pieces had broken off of them. Somehow I managed to stab myself. I don't think it was one of their swords that did it though. Once I got all of their arms and swords and the treasure chest glued back in place, then I noticed there was a door missing, and I got some scrap material I had and cut a door to fit in place that I'd then paint and weather later. Then I started reattaching the upper parts of the masts onto the masts that I had glued in place. Now once I started preparing to glue some of the sub-assemblies onto the ship, I went through my box of spare pirate ship parts to see if there was any additions that I wanted to make to this. I found a couple of pieces in there, then I went ahead and added on to the ship. And then I used a thick contact cement to glue the sub-assemblies onto the ship. I glued the pirate captain and his chair onto the stern of the ship. And then I glued the fighting pirates amidships. And at this point it was pretty much done. All of the soundtrack and all of the lights worked. It did have the motion it was supposed to have, but it wasn't working very well. That may be something that I go and look at later. But for now, I'm just glad to have another pirate ship to add to my display. and for less than half the cost of finding one in good condition. Here it is operating. Oh, and that door that I thought was missing? It turns out it never had one. Lemax just left an opening there. Thank you for watching. I hope this encourages you to find something broken and fix it.